What's up guys, it's your favorite QB coach. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be a student before and after video, so let's go do this thing. So welcome back to the channel guys. If you guys are new to QB Golf Japan, we do a bunch of videos like this every single week. So what you got to go do is hit that little red subscribe button, smash the like button, please leave a comment if you feel like you like this video, and as always, please share the video, it really does help. Let's hop into this student before and after. Alright, so this particular student before and after, we're going to focus on a client who was struggling with an early release, right? That just means that basically by the time the hands got level with the thigh, the club head was almost already beating the hands. Now, this is probably one of the most searched Google terms, personally, I think, in Japan, and that's really how to get handle first. So hopefully this video you guys can get maybe some few key drills that we did to kind of help this student get some pretty amazing before and after results. And then hopefully you guys can kind of take this into your own games. So to start things off, I want to just go over real quickly the student's before swing, then we'll go over the after swing, and then at the very end of the video, I think you guys should watch all the way till the end because we're going to give you some specific checkpoints of what you should probably do if you need handle first or not, right? Because not everyone needs handle first. So without further ado, let's go hop into the before swing. So the before swing is over here on the left of your screen right now. So we're going to take this player down to position 5. So one of the common things we see with a lot of players who get kind of the early release is kind of the way their hand path works. So this player tends to get maybe just a little bit on the wide side, a little bit too wide too early. And then from here, his hand path kind of starts to go downwards, right? So the way that he's arcing the hands, the shape of that little, you could call it circle almost, or half circle, is not quite the way that you should be doing it if you want to get the club shaft to load correctly and if you want to get rid of kind of that early release, right? So first things first, that's kind of what he's doing. He's getting maybe a little bit too wide and then going down. And then right around here when the hands get pretty much level with the thigh, we're going to see that the club shaft right here is pretty much lined up with his forearm, right? That would be an early release. At this position, what we're looking for, especially for a high-speed player, is you want to look something like this with the club shaft, right? So you don't want to be early releasing. I think a lot of you guys kind of get that, so let's just leave it at that. We're going to leave him there, and let's go take a look at what we did with the after swing. So again, after swing is over here on the right of your screen. And what we're going to notice is, and it'll be hard to see on 2D video, but the hand path is going to be moving slightly different. So the way that it's arcing or the way that it's sharpening its path is slightly different at a different time. And then as well as he gets into kind of this position where the hands are level with the thigh, now we're seeing that the club shaft is actually kind of parallel to the ground, right? So it hasn't early released. So really, to kind of wrap things up with how to do this in terms of just understanding the basics, it's really moving your hand path differently, starting to arc your hand path or pull your hands or torque or force the club at a different spot than what the current player on the left of the screen was doing, right? And that's really simple. And it might sound complex maybe to some of you guys, but don't worry, I'm going to give you a really simple drill that we did with this particular student that's going to make it, I think, very easy for you guys to do something similar. From here, let's just show you the rest of the swing just so you guys can kind of get a gist of what's going down, right? So then this is roughly right around impact, right? So you can see the club shaft is looking kind of this way in the before swing, right? So the club head beat the hands. This player had quite a high trajectory, right? Whenever you're having the club head beat the hands, you're adding on loft. If you don't hit it thin and you do hit it somewhere in the sweet spot, you're going to hit the ball really, really high, which was kind of what this player was doing. The after swing here, you can now see roughly right around here is impact. The hands are very far ahead of the club head. If anything, this actually is maybe a little bit too much because this player was actually had a dynamic loft. This is a 7-iron, by the way. Had a dynamic loft of around 19 degrees, which for his club head speed was a little bit too much loft taking off. But again, we were kind of doing a little bit of an extreme drill here, just trying to get him into a spot to where he could hopefully find the happy or middle zone after the lesson, right? And that's a good actually thing for you guys to do. If you're severe on one side, work severe on the other side, but just understand that you're doing the severes, and then you can try to work your way in the middle, right? That's a great way to do it. Some other notable changes that I think are really important is if we go take a look at the before swing, we're going to see that the sternum right here is quite far behind the center of the pelvis or the belt buckle, so a good way to think about it. In the after swing, we're going to see that the sternum, yes, is still a little bit behind the center of the pelvis, but it's getting much more in line than it was before. Let's go kind of through, and then you can kind of see this play out throughout the rest of the swing, right? So you're seeing that the sternum is getting quite far behind. That's like that reverse C look, right? And then as we take the new swing, we can see that it's getting a little bit more straight up and down, so he's supporting the lumbar spine a little bit better through that zone. And then here, kind of similar, right? A little bit of a reverse C on the left of your screen, and then right at the screen, he's looking a little bit more stacked up and down, right? So that's pretty much the overview of kind of what we changed. I want to run you through the drill that we currently did with this player that really helped him get rid of that early release. All we did, and it's a really simple drill, was let's just say we had a line or a alignment stick somewhere behind the player like this. Just understand, alignment stick behind the player, parallel to the ground, right? Height-wise, you want it right around, I usually put it just above the hips, right? So maybe about this far above the hip line for the player. And then I usually put it roughly right around 2 yards to 3 yards behind the player. And then what I do is I have the player swing up to the top and stop. And then from here, come down and try to miss that alignment stick, right? So what it really does for the player is it allows them to actually get the sensation of pulling the hands forward a little bit at the right time, which is then going to get them into a position that looks a little bit more like this, as opposed to the before swing where they were looking a little bit more like this, right? So it's really just curving the hand path or the hub path, whatever you want to call it, in a slightly different fashion, which is then going to allow this player to get a lot better potential to have this handle first. Now, some key little caveats or key little extra points to kind of think about with this drill. The first thing is most people can cheat it by sliding their whole body quite a bit far forward, right? So when you're doing this, you got to make sure that you're not sliding your body to do it. You're pulling your hands in to do it, right? That's a big difference, so make sure you're not sliding. What we did with this player was I had an alignment stick behind him. I put an alignment stick kind of by his head to make sure that he wasn't sliding forward, right? That's kind of how we did it. You're going to have to figure out some type of setup, right? Maybe make some type of, I don't know, PVC pipe or something. Or have a friend help you with this. If you guys both early release, that's probably the best situation. You guys can switch off. And then if you're not sliding forward and you miss the alignment stick, you're going to be pretty good. And then the last little bit to this too as well, you can also cheat this by kind of swinging way over the top and getting the hands way out. It's another way of kind of missing the stick. So make sure that I usually do is if this is the golf ball, I'll put a golf ball behind the ball and off to the right. And that just acts as like a, if I go over the top motion, the club head's going to hit that golf ball to the right of the ball. And that kind of detracts the player away from wanting to do that, right? So that's pretty much the setup. Make sure you got the golf ball behind and to the right so you can't come over the top. Make sure you got something in your way or just consciously focus on not sliding forward to miss that alignment stick. And then if you can kind of combine those two, it's going to be a really great, easy drill for you to start getting some looks and before and afters like this player got, right? This is pretty amazing in a short amount of time. So really simple, effective drill. I hope that you guys like it. Now the last little parts of this video, should I get handle first, right? Because we've definitely done some videos on Instagram. If you guys follow us, go follow us there. But on Instagram, we did some videos like some people shouldn't really focus on trying to get handle first. So I want to give you guys maybe a brief little guide. So if you're swinging your 7-iron about 35 meters per second or more, it's okay to get some type of handle first, right? Now, this right here on the right of your screen that you're looking at, this might be a little bit too much for someone who's swinging around 35 meters per second. That's more so maybe my club head speed. I swing my 7-iron right around like 40 meters per second. I'm probably going to want to have something a little bit more like this player currently has. So if you're swinging around 35, you maybe don't want to see your hands and the club head or like this relationship. Maybe you want to see it maybe a little bit more kind of this way, just a little bit less. Now, if you're 35 or less, you almost want to have little to none of this handle first, right? Because you're just not generating the club head speed to want to take off loft. It just doesn't make sense. You're going to hit the ball too flat or too low, and the ball is going to drop out of the air too early, which means you hit the ball shorter, right? And no one wants to hit the ball shorter. So for a player like that, if you swing 35, like 34 meters per second or less, you're probably going to want to have like maybe just a little bit of handle first. And you're also going to want to make sure that your angle of attack is not too far on the down, right? You don't want to have a 7-iron that's like 4 down, 5 down. You probably want to have an angle of attack that's going to be more so like -2 down, right? 2 down or 1 down. A little bit more on the shallower side. It's going to help you not get your dynamic loft as well as your launch angle too low. So those are really kind of some checkpoints. Again, we're probably going to be doing webinars on this. We're going to be creating courses around this as well, this type of concept of the handle first. And we'll go much more in detail and we'll make it a little bit more beneficial for you guys. But for this particular video, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you guys want to take some lessons, we still have some lessons for July. I think we have 7 spots available. By the time this video comes out, though, we actually might be sold out. But yeah, take lessons from us. We have round lessons, take our round lessons. Check out our webinars on our shop. We have about 4 webinars currently, over 350 minutes of material. Giving you guys all these checkpoints that we go over in these types of videos. You guys got to check that out as well. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys again next video.